Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sew Spark Studio. I'm Paula. This is just a short video today, mostly aimed at those who are beginners with the serger. And I'm just going to show you a few things to look at before you press the presser foot and start serging on a piece of fabric. If you've kept your cover on your machine, one of the first things, of course, is remove the cover. Next, raise the stand, if it isn't already raised, and check the threads on each of the sections here to make sure they're not tangled or wrapped in some way, because that might cause them to break when you start to serge. So these are all good right now on my serger. You can look at the tension. Generally on the serger, we would only modify tension if we were doing a different type of stitch, or if we were perhaps doing a different fabric, in which case you should test it on the fabric before you make any changes. If you're not familiar with the serger, if you have someone to help you with this, it's a bit of a learning curve. Some things to remember when you're using the serger. One is that we almost never raise the presser foot. The serger has extended feed dogs, and so these are able to grab the fabric when it's placed just under the tip of the serger foot. Another thing to remember is that there is a knife blade on the serger. It's this part right here. So this is going to trim your fabric while you're serging. This means that you want to be as accurate as possible, because if you make a mistake, you can always rip out the serger stitching, but you can't replace a seam that has been cut off by that knife blade. So keep that in mind. Now, it is possible to lower the knife blade, but most of the time in serging, we don't do that. Some other things that you can check: your stitch length. Usually I have that set on 3 for most serging. My machine has something called a differential feed, and I'm not going to talk about what that does today, but normally I would have it on 1. And then this lever right here has to do with if I want to use a different type of stitch, like a rolled hem. So most of the time I have it on STD, which is standard. The RH would be if I wanted to do a rolled hem stitch. And I will do a video at some point about how to do that. But today we're just introducing the serger and some basic things about it. So you position your fabric just under the tip of the presser foot, and I like to line it up on the shelf here. Now occasionally I'll have it further out if I want to trim more off. But for a lot of the sewing that I do, I just line it up right on this edge right here. And then you press your foot pedal. And you can see that the machine grabs the fabric very quickly. And now my only job is to just keep it straight, guiding it through. Now again, when you're done serging, on the sewing machine, you would raise your presser foot. On the serger, we don't do that. We keep serging. And I like to serge a fairly long tail, because I don't want any of the parts here to on-thread if I cut my threads too close to the needle or the lower area here. So I do a tail long enough so that I can trim off the end and have some left here, and also have a tail on my fabric. And I have another video that I'll be doing that shows what to do with these tail ends. The serger doesn't have a reverse button like a sewing machine. So how do you lock your serger stitching? And that's another video that I'll be doing. So then you can check your seam here. And I'm looking at nice flat stitching. I'm looking at how it lines up along the edge. And this machine that is well adjusted for the tension on the machine right now. And that's just a basic introduction to the serger.